not necessarily support him. You think the African Union handling the crisis in Libya would have led to the same situation facing the country today? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section.
No, it would have been different, and I think that if Libya was, if there was still a strong Libya with Gaddafi running, it would be a stronger Africa. It would be a stronger South Africa, as far south as that. Somalia and Eritrea wouldn't be going through it as much or at all. I think a lot of things will be different. The DRC, what's happening in there, that would be different. It was a reason. They knew. They just cause chaos is what they do, man. Look what they did in Iraq, and that destabilized that whole region. So fucking off Libya destabilized Africa. They benefit from that destabilization. Look at Haiti. We was talking about Haiti earlier. Haiti got a bunch of resources too. Everywhere that has resources, they don't want them to have a stable government. And did you hear all the stuff that that Libyan people got? Stuff that you don't get here in the United States. Everybody has a right for a home. We got homeless people, a real homeless crisis here. We're supposed to be the richest country in the world. Libya didn't have no homeless because everybody deserved a home. Anyways, I mean, the thing about the basic point of Gaddafi is that, sometimes you got to do bad things to do good, and I don't try to judge anybody good or bad, because I can't say he was good and I can't say he was bad. But in the Western countries, the way we're taught about Gaddafi, he was just a demon. He was like the devil. He was Satan, and that's not true. I don't think that's true. I mean, hearing, just listening to this story, but the guy showed the other side too. Some fucked up shit happened, and the Islamic stuff is pretty fucked up, intolerance. So, but like I say, sometimes you got to do bad things to do good. Sometimes you got to do good to do bad. I mean, I would say overall, Gaddafi was good for Africa. He was definitely good for Libya. There's no argument there. So it's kind of like Saddam Hussein for Iraq. Because, again, the Western media paints him as a demon, a Satan, evil, or whatever. But you can't argue with the fact that he was good for Iraq. So, like, the end of the day, us being over here in the United States or the UK or wherever, who are we to say what's good for Iraq or what's good for Libya? Let the Libyan people deal with that. Let the Iraqis deal with that. Why do we have to be involved in that? We don't even have it as good as them. Let me read the caption. It says, "Why Africa went mute on Gaddafi. As much as Muammar Gaddafi was despised by the West, particularly France, Italy, Britain, and America, he made a lot of enemies and was also viewed as a threat in some African regimes. And it's possible that this explains why organs of the continent, such as the African Union, looked on silently without a whimper of protest in 2011, and Western armies moved in to depose him." Because I think about this. That's the reason why I kind of wanted to cover this, because it's just like I'm thinking about that, and it's like, I was alive. I saw this stuff. I was watching. I was already politically aware when this stuff was happening, and I didn't think about it at the time, but thinking about it now with this question is like, why? How come no one came to the rescue? How come no one even it was way too easy for them to do what they did to Gaddafi. It shouldn't have been that easy. So then that it had to be he ruffled some feathers over there where he's at too. Like, it had to be African countries that wasn't feeling it. But then it's like, as good as it was for everything, and then the stuff that he was talking about, I don't know. I guess his head got too big, got too arrogant, and other people was like, okay, let them get him. Fuck him. I never thought about that before. It pretty much had to be that. It shouldn't have been so easy for them to go get him. Let me read some comments. It says, I am in high school here in the United States, and I can't even speak about Muammar in any kind of fair or positive light without getting crucified for it. I try to make my classmates and teachers see Muammar in the way a lot of Africans see him, and I get suspended for it. People here in the West are too narrow minded and can't see things for what they actually are. Muammar overall did more good for his people in Africa than he did bad, and I think most people here will agree with that. Another comment. As a student of basic financial education, now I understand why he was killed. It wasn't because of their nuclear capability, it was because he wanted to create a sound monetary system backed by gold. Ladies and gentlemen, do you understand the economic boom and prosperity that would have brought to the people of the continent of Africa? It would have turned it into a real life Wakanda. However, worldwide, it would have caused a massive economic and financial collapse because it would have destroyed the dollar and other fiat currencies. And not only that, all of these resources that are getting extracted out of Africa left and right by these private corporations, yes, they would have crashed too. And it's like these countries saying, "Oh, wait, these are our resources. We want this to benefit our people. Like, isn't that fair?" Like the corporations are like, "Nah, hell no, hell no. This is private shit. We got private investors, private everything, and private fucking profits. Y'all not involved in none of that." But wait, we live over here. We've been here forever. Like the stuff y'all taking is from right up under our feet. Like this is where we live. This is our home and stuff. Like nah, 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 nah. Y'all not organized enough for that. Y'all have corrupt, uh, governments, and y'all have chaos and gangs and shit. So nah, it's much better if you let us deal with this. We'll chuck you some change and we'll give you some jobs and stuff. Like we'll give you some opportunities for some World Bank loans, like the IMF. The IMF will hook y'all up. The Red Cross will hook y'all up. We got y'all. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're gonna put some resorts. We're gonna build some hotels and some streets and shit. And you know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna benefit from that too. So y'all really should be happy about that. But nah, wait, y'all making like billions of dollars like a day off of this shit. Like y'all chucking us like less than 1% of that back in the infrastructure and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look at this chart right here. This chart right here explains it all. It's crazy. So like if these countries, if more of the countries in Africa, like the DRC for a specific example, if the DRC was in the position to control its resources and make it benefit their people, then they would be rich literally over fucking night, like ridiculously rich, even richer than Libya ever was. Just out the blue, boom, because they have the resources and they just been extracting this, and this stuff is worth so much. It's worth so much. The DRC should be rich. The people of the DRC should be rich. The DRC is rich, but the people are not. They're poor as hell. They got the little kids digging in the mines, and they struggling just enough to eat for the next day, so they can go back and dig in the mines again for these damn corporations where they're making trillions of dollars. You know, so if the DRC could control their income, control their resources, and then you got Libya controlling their resources, and you got South Africa controlling their resources, Yemen. There's a huge port right there. All of that. Um, these countries would be rich as hell. But that's what they do not want, because that's what people don't understand about colonization, because these other countries, the ones that are colonizing, they're the ones extracting the wealth. And you go back and look at their country, and it's beautiful. They have big buildings and beautiful streets and great plumbing, restaurants and stuff. But they're extracting this wealth, literally extracting these beautiful buildings and streets uh, from these other countries that are underdeveloped. Nobody gets it. Let me read comments. It says, people may disagree with me on this next comment, but I see Gaddafi as a hero for Africa. Before he was framed for lies and other false narratives, Gaddafi was a hero for Africa. Another comment. Gaddafi had more heart than other African leaders. Another comment. Gaddafi understood well the need for Africa to unite. What he did not account for was how badly the West needs Africa to remain fractured. They are willing to do anything to maintain this instability. To unite Africa, we must give the leaders no choice outside of the 6 regions of Africa. This is exactly what I'm saying. He says the West needs Africa to remain fractured. Like they literally need it. It's their life source. It's what maintains their freaking riches. Let me read another comment. It says, in like other places like Haiti, Central America, parts of South America, let me read some more. It says, we should have been on Africa, one currency, self sufficient. Look at us now, choking on loans from Western nations. They're, like I said, the IMF came in, and that's what it is. They all owe the World Bank mad interest. And then they get to tell them exactly how to spend the money. It's crazy. They spend it on infrastructure and stuff like that as far as streets, but not infrastructure related to water and schools, unless the water is going into a hotel or something. But it really benefits the corporations so that they can move their products in and out. They can make money more easily. It's better for them. That's the only money that gets spent. Let me read another comment. It says, a great example to the rest of us in Africa, a man who said about actually doing and wanting us all to start doing. The plan was already set, then we abandoned him to our enemies. Farewell, great leader. It's a really sad story. That's why I like to bring up Gaddafi all the time, because Gaddafi story, it shows everything. Because you talk about the banana wars, Gaddafi is like that, but in Africa instead of Central America. It's like they're making money off of their own resources. Oh hell no. And then these damn companies were so bold that they started having war with each other over their damn fucking plantations, slave plantations basically. They didn't call them that, but that's what they were. Let me read another comment. It says, breaks my heart every time I hear about the falling of this great leader. That was God given to Africa but wasn't embraced. Another comment, I'm ashamed of our South African government who sold out Gaddafi, who put his neck on the line for our fathers, uncles, and oppressed peoples all across the continent. May Allah forgive him for shortcomings and reward him for his efforts, intentions, and sacrifices. Salam to you and your families. Cape Malay, Cape Colored, from Cape Town, South Africa. Long live the legacies and memories of Omar Mukhtar Muammar Gaddafi, Chris Hani, Steve Biko, and countless others who refused to settle, mislead, sell out, or be silenced. And that's why they get killed. I wonder why this person didn't mention Patrice Lumumba, because his story is similar to Muammar Gaddafi. Muammar Gaddafi did way more than Patrice Lumumba. But Patrice Lumumba was a firecracker, so they seemed like they had to get him out the way right away. Like this dude right here, we need to handle him right now. And I think that's part of the reason why Muammar Gaddafi got to hang out, because he did do some stuff that was questionable, and that's what the powers that be are cool with. As long as you're doing some foul shit, you good. But that dude Patrice Lumumba, he was like Christ energy, man. So like, no, we got to put this. We got to take care of this right now. Let me read some more comments. It says, Gaddafi was literally the best thing that ever happened in Africa. I pray to God someone like him comes again. The Western world doesn't want to see Africans succeed. I live in Canada, and even teachers taught him to be the enemy of us. Luckily, I did my own research, and it turns out that they couldn't be any further from the truth. Another comment. As a 69-year-old African man from Sierra Leone, I witnessed the atrocities committed by Gaddafi-backed rebels during our 10-year civil war. I personally knew some of the men who went to Libya to be trained. Some are dead, but others are too afraid to return to Sierra Leone because they know we have not forgotten the thousands of civilians who were slaughtered or had their limbs chopped off, including children and even babies. Africa does not need leaders like Gaddafi who try to impose themselves for life, not just on their own countries, but on the whole continent. That man died the way he deserved to die, so good riddance. Well, he said what he said. He said what he said. And like I said, I know it's some horrible stuff that Gaddafi had direct involvement in. Africa is an ugly ass place when it comes to like the people, as far as like governments and all of that shit, like guerrilla warfare and like shit like that. People starving, people hungry. It gets ugly. Let me read some more. The best thing that ever happened to Africa was Momar being African. Really painful how we don't value what we have until it's lost. Another comment. Forgive me if I sound ignorant, but the solution with Libya Gaddafi sounds very similar to what happened with Iraq Hussein. That's what I said. I can't say that I agree with certain actions taken by both leaders, but the world should have known better on what to do after removing those two men from power. You can't just leave power vacuums. Yeah. So when Libya, like it said, they say it destabilized all the way to the other side of the Sahara Desert. Like, and the same thing with Iraq. Iraq destabilized all the way into fucking Iran. Let me read some more. It says, under the reign of Gaddafi, Libya got into a perfect position and the other countries would benchmark for them to make similar improvements in their states. It can't be denied that he was so powerful that the West feared him. They had developed an interest in Libya due to its large oil deposits and natural gas, and because it was definite their intervention into the country would be a huge task, they started piling up lies about him. Gaddafi's passion towards Pan-Africanism and advocating for a United States of Africa with a common currency was evident in the way he tried to promote solidarity in different states and intervene in conflict-stricken states, trying to bring about peace in the country. I would say that the African leaders during that period were more inclined to whatever opinions the West had. That's what I said. Selfish and not brave enough to think about the future, but rather the current, and thought that Gaddafi's plans out of the line and failed to support him and intervene with NATO, intervene Libya. I feel if the leaders we have now could have been the leaders during that period, maybe all that happened could have happened in the first place, since most of them speak of how these ideas would have made a great Africa great today. But it's all about hindsight, right? Hindsight is the best sight. So yeah, a lot of the leaders may be saying that now, but even if those same leaders were around then, they may have been talking different. They maybe been talking different. It's funny how it is like that. Hindsight is the best sight. And then when you got America and NATO and these other European countries breathing down your neck and also paying you on the side, then hey, look out for your friends and family. Look out for your buddies. You're gonna be good. Africa is a mess. The people gonna keep starving. It's been like that forever. Nothing you can do about it. Just take care of your family, and we got you. Thank you, God, for this day. We have lived everything in our life, our health, our family, the guidance you have given us, allow us guidance to the path of righteousness. Amen.
Really, I'ma get that bitch. Revenge is a dish best served cold. She took my son, now my soul is cold. He took my daddy, now my soul is